Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, basketball fans. I'm JMO.
And I'm Hefe, and this is the Bench Squad.
All right, Hefe. The NBA announces that the All-Star game is back and it's coming. We're in a pandemic. We don't care. NBA All-Star game is coming.
Going through with it
Uh,
anyways.
Going through it anyway. March 7th, they announced. And, you know, yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, so they announce it. Particularly interesting timing with 2 days after the NBA announces that they have zero positive tests for coronavirus and the whole entire league out of the 426 players or whatever it is. So yeah, they decide, I think, after that to kind of like show, hey, we will go from 16 to 11 to 2 to 0. This is a good time to show
It's
that we
gone. There it
we
goes.
can bring people together in one spot. So yeah, the NBA announces the All-Star game is going to happen. They're going to bring all these players together, and here we are talking about should they even do it?
We're not the only ones talking about it either. It's just, you know, there's a short turnaround from the NBA season from last year. We're in the middle of a freaking pandemic still. Nothing's really changed. And yes, we have had zero tests lately, but we still have people in and out of lineups every single night. We have people on 4-day cooldowns, 10-day cooldowns, 14-day cooldowns. There's no fans in the arena. The whole NBA just feels way different this year. So it begs the question, like, is it really even necessary for us to have an all-star game, or should we just like give these guys a break for 5 days, like an all-star break?
Yeah, I mean,
And
there's a lot of reasons why this kind of doesn't. This feels out of touch. This feels a little, yeah, like we were saying, cash grabby. It
yeah,
feels, it doesn't feel good because there doesn't seem to be a lot of positives, and it just seems to be a lot of cons. And I don't know. We're seeing tonight. It's Friday night. NBA's has a jam packed schedule, and basically everyone that's talking about it, players and Twitter, and both all are just questioning whether or not this is what we should be doing.
yeah. Well, it also started to spiral a little bit because tonight Kevin Durant was starting for the Nets, and then he wasn't starting for the Nets. Got pulled from the starting lineup, came from off the bench, and then got pulled in the third quarter. And it was all, there was like 9 tweets in a row from Woj and some other people that were just like, he's out for safety protocols. Just kidding. He's in for safety protocols. Okay, he's going to play a bit of the game and then he's out for the safety.
Yeah.
So,
If you're
there's a
following
whole,
along, like, yeah, live, you're just lost because the miscommunication was real. He played and then he got pulled. That's something got miscommunicated. There was some disconnect that existed.
yeah.
And as James Harden commented after the game, it it just doesn't really make sense. I
Mhm.
just like, how is it that one player can have contact tracing, but that doesn't mean the rest of the team doesn't? I'm not obviously an expert on that sort of thing, so maybe there is some way, but it just, by the layman's eye, it doesn't seem right. There seems something out of whack.
Yeah, I saw there was a statement released. I guess that Kevin Durant had 3 negative COVID tests in 24-hour period, so he was should have been good to go. But then, as he started to play, somebody that he was in contact with earlier that day, like somebody just him one on one with somebody, their test was inconclusive. So they were like, "No, he can't play until it's conclusive." Then he starts. Then they're like, "Okay, it's conclusive," and he starts playing, and they're like, "Just kidding, we were wrong. It's a negative COVID test." So then they had to pull him out midway through the game. So it's just, but that's just,
Wait, so was it
all
a
the,
positive COVID
or
test, you mean?
positive, I meant. Yeah, yeah, not
Okay.
negative. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
that's just the whole problem. All that it just wrapped up in a nutshell right there. Is like it's not safe right now. We have problems. Like a
Well,
cool
yeah,
down would
a
be.
lot of these safety protocols are designed to keep the games going. They're designed to not, have the games be postponed in any way. And yeah, it's just, if it's called the safety and health protocols, it seems it should put the priority of safety and health. And I just at this point, it just doesn't feel like it. So when we talk about all this, yeah, Kevin Durant has this whole thing going on Friday night. This is on top of the controversy of whether or not we should be having an all-star game where 24 players from, let's say, 18 different teams come together to one location. That
Yeah,
doesn't sound right. It just
I
doesn't.
know already you're like they're saying you're not supposed to hug after games and you got to wear your mask the whole time while you're sitting on the bench and they're putting these really strict guidelines in. And then when it comes to something like this, it just seems like it's just not as important. And it just begs the question like, is it just literally because of money? You know? And then they try and cover it up, which I get. They say that it's they're going to donate the funds to charity or to, COVID relief. But it's the NBA. I don't think you need this all-star game to, send
No,
money to
you can
charity.
there's other ways to manufacture that sort of revenue that would incentivize doing that charity. I get it, like doing completely out of pocket, that's not actually, in their interest. But like there's plenty of different ways to manufacture that revenue to feel inspired to do the charity thing. If that's what it's about, it's bringing 24 different players and then staff and just all these different people together into one location. That just doesn't seem right, especially when it's not going to be like a bubble thing where they quarantine 2 weeks before and then it's just not going to be like that. It's just going to be like, here we go, we all get to travel to Atlanta. I just Yeah,
Yeah.
the charity thing, the special night of All-Star, All-Star weekend is what's special. It's not necessarily the All-Star game in itself. It's the whole festivity of it all. And if there's gonna be no fans, I don't know. You're seeing just what these NBA players are saying so far. If someone like LeBron is saying the things he's saying, which is I'm gonna be there physically, but not emotionally or spiritually or mentally,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that says it all right there.
Mhm. And LeBron was kind of the first one to speak out on it, and now other reporters are asking fellow superstars like, "Hey, what do you think about LeBron's comments?" And they're like, "I agree with him." Giannis,
Giannis
Kawhi, these
shares.
are
Yeah.
and these are top tier superstars. And if enough players are starting to speak out like that, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, this is more of like a reactionary discussion we're having, but with all the as of tonight, February 5th, there's tons of players coming out and saying that they think it's stupid, they don't want to be a part of it, they think it's a cash grab, and they're being pretty honest. It seems like.
Yeah, this is a bad look for Adam Silver, who has been kind of the golden boy for for a decade now for his long reign.
Yeah.
Uh Obviously during these times it's hard to exist and push forward in a league while also maintaining safety and health protocols kind of throughout. It's definitely hard to balance those two. So I'm not saying that there's exists this perfect plan, but in this instance you had no intention of an all-star game kind of going into the season when it started, and now to kind of transition and make that decision when nothing about the world outside of basketball has changed, and that's
If
that's what
anything,
feels
it's
out of touch.
if anything, it's kind of gotten worse. It just seems like for a little while everybody was taking everything really seriously, and then there was kind of a lull period, and now everybody's just like, I'm sick of this, and I'm just gonna live my life again. Like if I get it, I get it, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah, and you're seeing some stadiums or some arenas having some influx of fans, and just like the other night, what was it, Sekou Smith, the passing of him, and Indiana honoring him that night because he was a former beat writer, but then they ironically for the first night of the season let fans in, and it's like he passed from COVID symptom. It's just like it's just these kind of things are adding up where the NBA is not following this model that they followed less than a year ago with the bubble. It
Hmm.
just seems kind of a slap in the face to all the fans and just in general of like now it just feels like they're disregarding everything and kind of moving forward kind of NFL style, but they don't exist, and we've already discussed this before, they don't exist on the same plane, so I don't know if they can operate in that fashion.
Yeah, it's tough with the arena thing because it's not just the NBA. It's like a government guideline. You can say, oh, you're allowed to have sporting events in attendance. Like that's these government mandates that have been coming out have been like, you can go to gyms or you can go to restaurants. Like certain states have different, you know,
Yeah.
protocols and things like that. So I don't know. It's just crazy times, and it's hard to say like what's right and what's wrong. Everybody seems to have a different opinion, and I get that the NBA kind of needs some sort of normalcy. It's a fucking multi-billion-dollar business, and they need to bring that revenue in. They owe people
Yeah,
money, and
yeah.
they
No,
have
I
to.
mean, there's an incentive to make the money. That's totally understandable.
Mhm. But is this the right way to do it? It just seems like. Probably not.
No, you have someone like Melo acknowledging like, hey, like everyone wants to be recognized for being an all-star. Like everyone wants the all-star selections and that to exist, the all-star team to exist, but the game in itself, like I think most people would be fine with taking their, their recognition and then kind of moving forward. And a point that we haven't really even hit yet that we, maybe touched a little bit, but like the fact that this was the shortest offseason in NBA history, and some of these teams were playing, less than 3 months before the season started. It seems like a perfect opportunity to give these guys a break and let them. And also, if they're, something like I think about like Joel Embiid, he had a kid. Like, is he seeing that kid every day? No, I doubt it. I mean, mostly because he's just a basketball player and he's not going to be home and stuff. But like with quarantine and not being able to expose himself, like, is he getting to see
Mhm.
his family every night or even, every couple days? That's what I'm saying. So it just feels like that all-star break that was intended, it seems like that just would have been a perfect opportunity to give the players a break, let them go decompress with their families, whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
I yeah, just a lot of this doesn't feel good.
I mean, yeah, it's not only just a short turnaround from last season, but there was like a short training camp, and now every game is spaced out by like a day or two. You don't want to jam practices in between these games where you're battling
They're
so
not
hard.
practicing.
Nobody's practicing. I just read somewhere that the Lakers had their first team practice like just a
Yeah,
couple
this
weeks ago.
yeah, the Sixers had their first one, I think, earlier this week.
And like think
One of
about
their
that. I
first
mean,
ones.
a lot of these teams are bringing in new players, new coaching staff, and they haven't had that training camp time or the practice time to like develop as a team or to discuss game plans at all. It's like they're using game time as practice time, and that's just crazy. Like, so yeah,
Yeah, and
just
they
give them a break.
Yeah, just give them a break, man. And we were doing this first half of the schedule, second half of the schedule, and the postponements of games have kind of eased up. I would say generally across the league, but there are teams that have been hit by it. And I just think like this scheduling, I don't know how to look at it in a positive way. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'll miss the All-Star game in the sense of the product that we see on the floor. Like last year was fun because the style of like playing to a certain score and watching them compete that last 5 minutes. But the rest of the game, it's I don't know, like it's like nice to have, but it's not something I'm gonna truly miss about the NBA season if it's not a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll miss it. I do love basketball. I mean, I do love All Star Weekend. I almost said basketball weekend. That's every weekend, baby. I do like All Star Weekend a lot. I just like the idea of from Friday to Sunday. It's like we got
Oh
some
yeah,
entertainment, but
but
without
that's
fans, it feels so weird. It just
yeah.
doesn't feel the same.
Well, yeah, like what are you doing? A 3-point contest in an empty gym? A dunk contest in an empty gym? Who the
Come
hell are
on,
you hyping up for? Like
I know. Come
what?
on,
Because a lot of the dunk contest is show, and it's just like
yeah.
what's the show without fans?
And
So
then
that's the thing
watch.
is, if it's not going to be an all-star weekend like that we are normal, accustomed to, then it
Mhm.
just feels like a make-up version. It's I don't know. It's either all or nothing kind of thing.
Imagine a 3-point shooting contest in an open gym. It's like you got multiple guys going 30 for 30. Just don't even miss.
Yeah, it's who misses is who loses.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
yeah. So you have Katie tweeting during the game, "Free me." That it's just it's classic. If James Harden is passing down a weekend in Atlanta, I think we should start readjusting how we think things here. I think
Mhm.
there's just a lot of bad beats with this, and as we were talking about this Friday night, and even as we were recording this pod, things are developing, and maybe by the time we even get this up, this things could be decided more quickly than we think.
As of tonight, we're seeing like just in the last 20 minutes, we're seeing lots and lots of new players kind of speaking out on this or seeing quotes from them. I don't know if that's actually when they said it, but we're seeing the quotes. So that's what I think is that if enough guys, enough superstar level caliber players are speaking out and saying this is not a good idea, we don't want to be a part of this. These are the guys who are going to be in the All Star game, and it's like if you
Yeah.
get 10 guys that say I don't want to be here, and then you put them together, it's like what kind of product is
Yeah,
that?
you can make arguments for pros all you want, but we just kind of laid out all those negatives and all those cons, and it's just like at what point like do we just kind of give and hey, it's okay to kind of admit that you were wrong in this instance, say the NBA, Adam Silver, whoever's making these decisions. It's
Mhm.
okay to just kind of like, okay, that we felt we feel you guys' vibe, we feel it out like that. Everyone not only the biggest, brightest players, but the fans as well are saying, whoa, let's ease the brake, pump the brakes here. Like
Mhm.
it's okay to just kind of admit that and move on and kind of give these players a break.
I'm pretty sure Adam Silver listens to the bench squad, so he's going to hear us and be like, "Man, Hefe and J both think it's a bad idea." Then and LeBron, it's like, man,
I'm
that's
telling you, if James Harden is thinking it's a bad idea, then we got to rethink things.
yeah,
And
honestly,
I'm
that
not going to
guy.
even do my whole Adam Silver rant because, as a Sixers fan, I have some thoughts. But it is what it is. And I just, this isn't just him. Obviously, he's just the face of the league and he's the one that's going to have to face the brunt of this. But I think it's time to kind of reflect on what the decision has caused and kind of move forward with that.
For sure. If there is an All-Star game and we do decide to go through with it, maybe we'll do a pod talking about first time All-Star selections or anything. Try to bring some sort of excitement to it, but
Like I
as of
said,
right now,
I think
doesn't feel
even
good.
without the All-Star game, you cancel the All-Star game and you just scrap that. The selections and the
Hmm.
recognition will still be there. And now I
Yeah.
will be excited to talk about that. First time All-Stars, Tobias Harris. It's gonna be great. Don't roll your eyes. He's an All-Star.
I'm just rolling
And
my eyes because of the gamer, honestly, because he hit it on my head, and I just
yeah, as you say, fair. I didn't think about it like that.
not
But
because he's not deserving, just because what? What's
but
that?
I get it. Anthony Davis is bad, not an All-Star. I get it.
Julius
No,
Randle's having a better season than Anthony Davis.
statistically, but he does play for the New York Knicks, so it's gonna be, give him a little credit.
If Anthony Davis took his place on the Knicks, yeah, he'd probably be a little bit more of a monster. But
Yeah.
I'm just
I think
disgruntled
AD's.
Lakers fan.
It's just weird. I didn't mean to get to this point of the pod, but it's just weird that he's taking a backseat to 36-year-old LeBron when he's 10 years younger. She's like, I'll just play defense and shoot jumpers. I don't know. It's
At
an
least he's
interesting
playing
strat.
defense.
Yeah, you got to at least give him credit that he's diverting his energy that way. It just seems odd that he is.
It's
So
fine.
yeah,
I mean, he's a.
go ahead. No,
I was
go
gonna
ahead.
say he's a front caliber, defensive player of the year candidate, and that feels pretty good because
Yeah.
number one defense in the league. So
Yeah. So when All-Star selections come around, this is what we'll talk about. Is Anthony Davis an All-Star?
stay tuned because I got stuff to say.
All right. Yeah. So we'll keep everything kind of up to date, see what's going on. But me and JMO just wanted to kind of talk about the All-Star game and the controversy surrounding it. I think both of us are firm stance. This isn't a good idea. I think a lot of people are on our side, and we'll kind of see what happens moving forward.
Farewell, peace and blessings.